What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. And today's video I said I would make eventually. The ratings dropped last night. We had a cookout last night, and we'll just say it wasn't barbecuing, if you know what I mean. I was wrote off. I was not gonna be able to record a video to this level of me reacting to the Eagles ratings, the launch ratings for the Philadelphia Eagles in Madden 20. What do you might be saying to yourself, C4? Just because you got a fancy hat, a $150 not weird flex starter jacket for the Eagles that now that I'm down like 20 pounds since the pandemic doesn't fit as good anymore, because you got green lights, you got that corner there, signed Brandon Graham's, you can't see it because of the fucking glare, signed Brandon Graham picture. What makes you unique? Oh, also, this is my Bible, Doug Peterson Fearless. I've read this book 48 times. It's how I live my life. Okay, God bless. Oh, also, what makes me good on knowing the Eagles is my high school football team was a rip-off Eagles team. China, made in China rip-off logo. So I honestly think as I go through these, there's not a better person to appraise and review these Philadelphia Eagle ratings than myself. A little bit of a ratings connoisseur. So what we're going to do, I just went by position. I feel like that'll be the easiest way, sort by position. Now, they don't have them rated. Like if I go by wide receivers, is it alphabet? I have no idea. It's first name, it looks like. Search by. Either way, we're going to go through all these ratings. I don't know. I want to say that I'm not going to be whiny and bitchy and say all these A, B, and C needs to be a higher overall. I'm going to say I literally haven't looked at. I've looked at the wide receivers that are right here because I've been just getting ready to record this video. I have no idea what most of the ratings are for the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm sure this is going to be pretty damn fun. I know there's one play in particular that I'm very heated about, but other than that, let's get into it. So looking at the Philadelphia Eagle wide receivers, so we got Alshon Jeffrey, 84. I actually think that's probably a little high. I would have given Alshon like an 82. He's, when he's healthy, he can still play like a top 20 wide receiver, big jump ball possession guy. But he's coming, whenever he can play for Philadelphia, we don't even know if he's gonna be ready opening week. But whenever he can play, he's coming off a torn Achilles. Someone that's torn their Achilles, that's tough to come back from, especially for a guy that was already very limited athletically, explosively. I think Alshon Jeffrey, yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm very much in the minority of the Eagle fans thinking that a healthy Alshon Jeffrey can contribute to this team. There's a bunch of people, healthy, not healthy, they want him gone because of so there's a locker room stuff. He's very overpaid. But I do think a healthy Alshon Jeffrey is a great wide receiver for this team because clearly, unless we are absolutely bamboozled, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who very much was drafted to be an Alshon Jeffrey type receiver and maybe be the successor for Alshon Jeffrey, I don't think he's going to be ready yet. Deshaun getting 83 is good. I would argue maybe give him put a little bit more respect on that acceleration. I know he's getting there in age a little bit, but I don't think he's dropped off for speed. I probably would have gave him like 96 speed, 95 acceleration. Greg Ward, G Ward getting a 70. That's a good rating for him. 73 for Arcega-Whiteside's a little high given how awful he was. Jalen Reagor with a 93. I do like how Swami and company, Cowboy ratings guy, kind of didn't just look at the bad 40-yard dash at the combine for Jalen Reagor. If you look at all the other metrics and stuff, he is faster. What was it, a 4.47? So 93 speed, 92 acceleration. He has great agility. His jumping is off the charts. We're not going to really look at the individual stats for all these guys. But between Reagor, between Deshaun Jackson, you got Hightower with a 68. I guess that's actually kind of high for where he was drafted. You got Marquise Goodwin with a 78 with that 97 speed, 96 acceleration. Then you got Quez Watkins, who I actually think is going to be my favorite wide receiver of the group, honestly. Obviously, you can't really put him in with Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor, the first-round pick. But Philly spent a lot of picks on some skill position players. And I think Quez Watkins, I think he's going to be the best. I love the speed. I loved his tape. And I do think Southern Miss, he's a baller, 94 speed. So there's a lot of speed. What I'm getting at is that there's a lot of speed for Philadelphia. They're going to be a fun team to user in this. Just Vert still at Ertz. Line up Goodwin, Quez Watkins, Jalen Reagor, Deshaun Jackson, 5 wide. Things will be good. Things will be pretty. But I would say looking at these wide receivers, generally my impression would be maybe Goodwin, given the fact that he hasn't been able to stay healthy, could be a little high. I think Arcega-Whiteside could be a little high. I think Alshon's a little high. Only thing that I think I would complain about is I would argue maybe don't nerf Deshaun Jackson's speed that much because I don't think, the age is up there, the regression is there. I think he should be a little faster. But generally speaking, you know, those are the wide receiver ratings. Look at the tight ends. Alex Ellis actually just got released for Jason Peters. They have Dallas Goedert, who's an 81. That's a good rating for a tight end too. Zach Ertz getting a 9. Okay, well, obviously they still have yet to add a long snapper position. I don't know if that'll ever happen. But we got Zach Ertz with a 90. I do think in a way that's fair. But when you see Gronkowski, that's a very heated debate amongst all the people that like talking about ratings. Gronk at a 95. I don't know if a Gronk coming out of retirement is still a 95 if Ertz is a 90, because I think that's the drop-off. I think it's Kittle, like 98 or something like that, Kelsey 97, Gronk 95, and then Ertz at a 90. I don't know if the discrepancy should be that big. And I'm not even the side that, like, Gronk getting 95 is ridiculous to me. He's, honestly, if he can come back without missing a beat, he still is going to be a super overpowered tight end. But I think the argument could be made that there's no way a Gronk coming out of retirement is 5 overall points better than Zach Ertz. But generally, just looking at the base rating, I still don't have any major issues with any of the Eagles receivers. Going to defense here, we have some safeties. Jalen Mills moving to safety. If he actually plays really well at safety, I think, honestly, most people that know and watch my Eagles, you know, for like, how many years? 3 years? I've been saying move Jalen Mills to safety. If this actually works out and he takes his game to another level, I don't know, maybe. I mean, Eagles need to give me a job. They need to give me a job somewhere, because I've been calling for, I thought it was as plain as day. I made specific videos about moving him to safety, because I thought you could look at his skill set and it should transition very well to being a solid to good starting strong safety in the National Football League. So if this pans out, I'm going to have to pat. That might be the hardest pat myself on the back that we've done yet. They got Kevon Wallace, a fourth round pick, getting a 71 overall. I thought Kevon Wallace was probably Philly's best single selection in the draft, and a 71 is a really, really good rating. It's going to be actually hard pressed if you're playing the Eagles in franchise mode to start Jalen Mills versus going with the guy that's 1 overall point lower and has, you know, a couple years younger. So in terms of development, higher ceiling. Will Parks here coming over from the Denver Broncos. He's another guy I'm generally excited to see how he's going to fit in the secondary. Pretty hyped up. He's a Philly kid. He got a 76 overall. I think he could be an interesting player. But generally for strong safeties, good ratings. So nothing to really complain about. And so far, I would say out of everyone on this first page, I would either say I'm good with it, or they should be downgraded. So far, so good for the C4 bitch rating. Go to the second page. We got right tackles. Lane Johnson, 89 overall. I would have gave him a 90, but he did have a little bit of a down year, technically, by his high standards last season. When you look at the grand scheme of things. Well, actually, that's how I'm going to finish this video, is I'm going to kind of go by the big-name players on the Eagles and look at across the league at their position where they're at. But in Indiana for Lane Johnson, it's not brutal. He should be, you know, you look at the right tackles, and he's a top 3 left, you know, he's a top 3 right tackle. Him, Ryan Ramczyk, and Mitchell Schwartz. I would probably have Lane Johnson. I would definitely have him ahead of Ryan Ramczyk by like a point or two, but probably still have Mitchell Schwartz be the top right tackle, just because the consistency's been there a little bit better. We got Davion Taylor and Jatavis Brown at outside linebacker. Great speed, great user players, 67 and a 72. No issue there. Right guard, Brandon Brooks, 93. I think he should be the number 1 right guard of the National Football League. He might be. That's a great rating. Jack Driscoll, 63. Jason Peters. I don't know why they wouldn't make Jason Peters a left guard. That makes no sense. Why would you have him at right guard? I mean, I guess he's a left tackle, so I would assume they would have just made him left guard. But either way, he did technically come in to replace Brandon Brooks. Everyone's assuming that Jason Peters is going to play alongside Lane Johnson. So, I mean, okay, maybe I retract that statement. And an 82 for Jason Peters, that's probably fair, moving from tackle to guard. I don't know necessarily in Madden, when you straight up swap a tackle to a guard, what the downgrade is on points and stuff like that. But 82 is fair. Defensive ends, we got a 63 Casey Tuill, 77 Derek Barnett, 73 Gennard Avery, 66 Sharif Miller. All those ratings seem, you know, fair. Derek Barnett, 77. There could be some people that are upset about that, but I think that's good. Everything there looks good so far. We got Carson Wentz with an 84, Jalen Hurts 68, Kyle Lauletta 56, Nate Sudfeld 57. Again, not, you know, I probably, knowing that Dak Prescott get an 84, I would have given Carson Wentz an 85, but clearly that's going to be a topic for discussion for this opening range. For people that care about ratings, especially if you're on that Philly versus Dallas side of things, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback in this game, and he's a top 10 quarterback in real life. I just personally would have given him an 85 because I thought they dogged him a little bit on his throw power. He had 90 throw power, I think. I think he should have 92. I think he has an absolute cannon of an arm. It's the strength of his game. I think 90. And if you give him like a 92, he would be that 85. So yeah, I would argue Carson Wentz 85, but it's a 1 point overall. There's not that big of an issue. Cam Johnson getting a 69. He always is underrated for a punter. I mean, punter and kicker ratings are pretty finicky in Madden, but I think Cam Johnson is a top 10 punter in the league. I would give him like a 74, 75. That's literally, that's how you know where I'm at. My biggest complaint so far in this video through 10 minutes is the punter. Alex Singleton with a 62, TJ Edwards 63. I would have given Edwards higher than that. He was really solid last year when he had to play. I would have given him high 60s. I would have given him like 68, 69. Dillard with a 69, Tego Wanogo with a 63. I mean, maybe that's a little harsh for Dillard. What did he start with last year? I feel like was that his starting overall? I don't think he was a 70 plus as a rookie. 69 is kind of harsh. I mean, he had some ups, he had some downs, but like you look at his best game, he shut down Khalil Mack when we played the Chicago Bears as a rookie. That is very tough to do. I would have gave Dillard probably 71, 70, 71, somewhere in that territory. You know, anything over a 72 would have looked really good. We got Duke Riley, 68, special teamer. Nate Gary, 68. Sean Bradley, 63. Those ratings make sense. Siumalu, 70. Pryor, 59. Opeta, 57. Those make sense. BG with the 87. Hall with the 66. Osman, 63. Josh Sweat, 73. All those ratings seem good to me. I mean, we don't know the dev traits or anything crazy like that. I assume Brandon Graham will he might not even have. He might be a star dev. If the stuff that was getting leaked from Madden School was true, I don't think I saw him on the superstar players. But 87 is fair for a base overall for Brandon Graham. Jake Elliott, 74, looks good. Boston Scott, 72. Corey Clement, 74. I'd probably switch those. I'd give Boston Scott the 74. Holyfield, 63. This is the worst rating on the Eagles. Miles Sanders had one less touchdown than Josh Jacobs. I made maybe an overreactionary tweet saying that if Josh Jacobs is an 88, Miles Sanders should be an 88. That was a little of a casual take. But when you look at the rookie running back ratings, I'll just tell you right now. Josh Jacobs is an 88. Miles Sanders is an 80. Like, guys going in their second year. Josh Jacobs, 88. Miles Sanders, 80. And then the next second-year running back is David Montgomery with a 78. There is no way that Miles Sanders last year was closer to David Montgomery than he was Josh Jacobs. So if Josh Jacobs is an 88, I think the biggest issue is Josh Jacobs getting an 88 is too high. If Josh Jacobs got an 85, 86, I mean, not 86. If Josh Jacobs got like an 84, 85, then yeah, I'd be good with Miles Sanders getting an 80. But if you're giving Josh Jacobs an 88, you're giving David Montgomery a 78, Miles Sanders at minimum, I got to be like 82, 83. That's at minimum. I would have given Miles Sanders, if Josh Jacobs an 88, I would have given Miles Sanders 84, probably 84 starting rating. That's ridiculous. That is easily the worst rating on the Philadelphia Eagles. They're dogging them. They're absolutely dogging them. Free safeties, we got Roddy McLeod, 77. That makes sense. D tackle, Fletcher Cox, 96. There could be some argument that it's a little bit high, but it does seem like Madden, the ratings adjusters kind of took into account for a lot of players, especially on the defense side of the ball. Injuries last season, like Von Miller did not play up to his standards, still got a high rating. Khalil Mack did not play up to his standards, still got a high rating. Same here goes for Fletcher Cox with a 96. We got Ridgeway, 68. Hargrave, the big signing from the Pittsburgh Steelers with an 82. Malik Jackson, 79. I'm happy with all those ratings on the D-line. In the secondary, Vontae Maddox with a 78. We got a 75 for Strat LeBlanc. Darius Slay, 88. Nickel Roby-Colvin, 82. Razul got a 73. Sidney Jones with a 75. Trevor Williams, a 70. I mean, hey, as an Eagle fan, it has been dog shit trying to work and develop anything with these Philadelphia Eagle corners. We don't know the depth traits, but obviously Darius Slay get an 88. I was expecting him to get a sub 90 personally because of the little bit of an off year last year with the Detroit Lions. Roby Coleman, 82. I mean, you're going to have Slay on the outside, Roby Coleman in the slot. That if you're probably trying to go for development, you're probably going to have Sidney Jones on the outside. Like, that's a really good secondary by Madden standards, which is very weird to say, talking about that with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think I'm solid with all the Eagles corner scores. Center, you got Jason Kelsey, the number one center in the game, 94. I think number 2 is Rodney Hudson on the Raiders with a 93. But 94 for Jason Kelsey is Gucci. That's where he should be. He's the best. He is the, I think, on the Eagles team, he is the single best player at their position is Jason Kelsey. So I guess from here, we'll reset the old ratings. And we'll kind of see where the Eagle players rate. So for center, obviously we got Jason Kelsey is the number 1 center in the game. Makes sense. We're not gonna do it for everybody, but we'll do it for the elite players on the Eagles. See where they rank in the league. So for corner, Darius Slay. Looking at all these guys, anyone I would have Darius Slay ahead of. Honestly, I would probably have. I might have him ahead of Jair Alexander. I definitely would have him ahead of Casey Hayward, and that's it. So I mean, there's nothing really to complain about. There's only 2 guys that are debatable ahead of Darius Slay. 88 seems not bad. Definitely not a brutal rating. We got D tackle, kick off corner here. So what does Fletcher Cox rate amongst? Oh come on, this. They did change it, the website up, the rating site up a little bit. It's still not the best. Could be better. So for defensive tackles, Fletcher Cox is the number 1. Makes sense. I mean, if you're not classifying Aaron Donald as a defensive tackle, Fletcher Cox is the best defensive tackle in the National Football League, in my biased opinion, and I guess in Madden's opinion. Running backs, because we are kind of heated about Miles Sanders, when you start looking at the running backs that are ahead of Miles Sanders. I mean, these guys on the front page, I wouldn't argue that they should be. I think when you look at Raheem Mostert, maybe you're getting a little finicky. Devin Singletary ahead of him. Kenyon Drake ahead of him. Darius Geis, Kerryon Johnson, Duke Johnson, Carlos Hyde, Latavius Murray. All these guys getting higher ratings than Miles Sanders. It's the worst rating. It's the single worst rating on the Eagles, without a shadow of a doubt. That's like really the only one that I think I'll be kind of bitching about. It's like, come on. What do we got for right guard? Where's Brandon Brooks' rate? Number 2 behind Zach Martin. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad, not a hot take or anything like that. Probably it. I guess Lane Johnson would be the last one to kind of see where Lane's at, and he's the 3rd. I would probably switch Lane and Ramczyk if I was looking at the ratings. But again, as we wrap it up, man, overall for the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think outside of our dude, Miles Sanders, I think they got the ratings right for the most part. So I definitely want to hear what you guys want to think. I know there's a lot of Eagle fans that watch my channel, and there's a lot of people that are upset. I have seen people complaining in particular about Miles Sanders. It's not just me. I have seen people complaining about Carson Wentz. I actually seen a lot of people saying Alshon Jeffrey's a little too high. Darius Slay's been active on social media complaining about his rating. So, it's going to be interesting to hear what you guys think for this feedback. We will be back tomorrow, though. I've compiled a list of the top 10 worst ratings. We do it every year. It's a banger of a video. That'll be dropping tomorrow for you guys. But always let me know in the comment section below. It just doesn't have to be for the Eagles. If you're not an Eagle fan in particular, what ratings do you think Madden got absolutely wrong on your favorite team? I know right now, pretty much all my mentions were flooded by Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I think they think Madden hates Steelers fans. So I will be going through all of them. I know Minka got a bad rating, I guess. So yeah, let me know. But that does it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Go Eagles, go Birds. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys back here. I had a rebuild. Seahawks rebuild came up earlier on the day. Go check that out. And tomorrow we'll be back with the top 10 worst ratings list. It's always a fun time. So see you then. Peace out. Well, energy drink. Cheers to you.